The Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers had a decent year in 2007. It wasn't an outstanding year. You look at their talent, it's just not good enough. They've got to improve. They need more size, more speed. Addition. Let's had a good year. 2007, and he really did a good job because this was his first year in the West Coast offense. He came in and he adapted. He's shown a great deal of quickness. This guy would be great at the slot position, similar to what you see with Wes Welker in New England. He's got tremendous quickness, and he's got good hands, and he's got speed, and he could beat and work in an area, especially working against linebackers and defensive backs in the zone areas, and I think he could do best there because he did have some difficulty getting off of the jam out of the press technique in the man-to-man. So you saw a lot of teams playing the press technique against Curtis and Reggie Brown, and they weren't able to deal with it effectively. Both of them don't have the combination of size and speed needed to be able to get off the jam and get downfield. So Kevin was beat up a bit, but he did have a good year, and he's consistent. This guy will catch the football if you get it to him, and he's got the quickness to do something with it after he catches it. Kevin is not a #1 receiver, though. You might say he's a #2 receiver, but probably more so a #3 receiver. He could work very well in the slot if they were to get some guys that got speed downfield, and Kevin could work along with them, and they can open up room inside. But Kevin is a plus, no doubt about that, because he's a gamer. He will go in and make the tough catch. And you look at Reggie Brown. Well, let me give you Kevin's stats. Kevin had 77 catches for 1,110 yards, 6 touchdowns, which is a pretty good year. It's nothing to sneeze at. But as I said, he would be better off working in the slot in a 3 wide receiver formation. So Kevin Curtis, definitely a plus for the Eagles. Reggie Brown had 61 catches for 780 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, Reggie Brown, he's not very fast. He's not very, where he's aggressive and a great runner after he catches the ball. He's not that. He's just an in-betweener. Nothing to write home about. He's definitely not a #1 receiver. Now, he's definitely a #3 receiver. And you saw Troy Aikman say that over the telecast, that he saw both Curtis and Brown as #3 receivers. The Eagles have got to upgrade, and it's best shown when you look at a guy like Reggie Brown. He doesn't do anything great. He's just good. He's okay. I probably would probably stick to okay. He's okay. But if you were to add some big-time players around him, it would make him better. But he's not the guy that can carry an offense. He's not going to dominate in man-to-man. You can cover him man-to-man. He probably works best against the zone. He does have a good feel for the passing game, but nothing to write home about. Reggie Brown's an okay receiver, and that's what I would say about him. That's the best compliment I could give him, and of course that's somewhat of some criticism because he's not the great guy to make the great play down in the end zone, go up and take the ball from a defender. The Eagles really don't have that type of receiver. You also got Greg Lewis, who does have some speed, runs pretty good routes, but he has no strength at all. I mean, Greg is just not a physical football player. He is a 5th receiver. That's what he do. In a good offense with some quality receivers, a guy like Greg Lewis could give you some plays, but he's not a guy that's going to carry anything. He has trouble getting off jams. He's best as the 4th receiver, and he had 13 catches for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns. Of course, he had a great game against the New England Patriots, and that was the game of the year for him. Other than that, really, he didn't do too much. Jason Avant worked as the #3 receiver for most of the year. This kid has got tremendous toughness. He's strong. He will catch the ball inside. He does have some potential. Again, not very much speed at all. This guy, he just can't run. He's a great blocker, though. I mean, Jason Avant will go down and really is a tremendous blocker as a wide receiver. He caught 13 passes, he caught 23 passes for 267 yards with 2 touchdowns. And Jason, as I said, he could flourish if they were bringing in, a great #1 receiver. Then Jason can give you some of the things that he can work inside, work against the linebackers. He has tremendous toughness. Hank Baskett had a better year his rookie year than he had last year in 2007. He had 16 catches for 142 yards and 1 touchdown. Jason Avant took Hank's position as the number 3 receiver, and Hank really didn't get a lot of play. He was sitting on the bench most of the time. He was brought in to block, but he didn't have much of a year in 2007. And, you know, this group has got to be improved. They're just not what you need to have in order to be a championship team. This is a mediocre wide receiver group. They're just flat out mediocre. They got to get better in this area. And that's one of the things the Eagles have to be looking for in free agency and in the draft. They've got to get more speed. They need playmakers on the football team, not guys that are just plotters and the smaller receivers. So that's where they definitely need to upgrade their football team.